All right, everybody, if you can make your way up to the chairs, we will get started. Doesn't it feel great to be back in person? I've missed these, missed seeing everybody in person, and if everyone will make their way to the front, find a chair. Welcome to Franklin tomorrow's Breakfast with the Mayors, our mayoral summit. This is a crowd favorite, and we are excited to have all of Williamson County's mayors here with us today. You'll notice that I am not Mindy Tate, and Mindy Tate is under the weather this morning, or has been for the last couple days, and so our thoughts and prayers are with Mindy as she recovers. I'm Patrick Baggett, board president of Franklin Tomorrow, and I will attempt to fill in for Mindy this morning. We're going to welcome Franklin Tomorrow board member, in the absence of Jeff Simmons, a pastor at Rolling Hills. Michael Armentrout is a Franklin Tomorrow board member. He's also executive director of Franklin Fellows, and he will offer a prayer this morning.
Yes. Good morning, good morning. Let's pray together. Lord, thank you for this group of men and women. What an impressive gathering of people. Lord, I pray that we would be men and women who listen and who also lead the city. Lord, thank you for the wonderful leaders that you've given us here in Franklin. Lord, we pray for the mayors. Give them, protect them, Lord. Protect them from evil, sin, and harm. Thank you for Franklin. Thank you for giving us a wonderful place to work, to serve, to raise our children. And we ask for continued guidance and discernment as we go forward out of this COVID pandemic. We pray all this in Jesus' name, amen.
Right. Thank you, Michael. Again, thanks everyone for coming out. It feels great to be back in person and to see the kind of attendance we have today. Just reaffirms the importance of Franklin Tomorrow's mission, and specifically the missions of Breakfast with the Mayors. This is it's such a joy to see everybody, and I hope everyone else is feeling like I'm feeling this morning with being able to see friends and community members. I want to thank our partners. We can't do what we do at Franklin Tomorrow, offer these fantastic free events, Frank Talks, Breakfast with the Mayors, as well as other events for free of charge without our partners. Specifically for Breakfast with the Mayors, Pinnacle Financial Partners. I saw Steve King, there he is, over here. Thank you, Pinnacle. Thank you for all you've done for Breakfast with the Mayors and Franklin Tomorrow over the years. We'd like to also thank Williamson Medical Center. I saw Nicole and Lee, they're here from Williamson Medical Center. They're a sustaining partner, and we are so thankful for that facility in our community and the quality care they provide. And thank you all for supporting Franklin Tomorrow and Breakfast with the Mayors. Also, saw Al at Gresham Smith and team here. There we are. We've got the booth over here. Thank you for being here and for what you do for the community, not just Franklin Tomorrow, but other organizations as well. Williamson County Association of Realtors, Hazen and Sawyer, Patterson, Hardy, and Ballantyne Public Accountants. And our July sponsors, Middle Tennessee Electric. So thank you. I've seen Middle Tennessee Electric representatives here as well. We appreciate what you do. And then finally, Andrew's Transportation Group. You all in Brentwood there with your brand new garage, and so that people can come and shop for cars in style. Thank you, Andrews, for your support of Franklin Tomorrow. Also, Puckett's Grocery. Who enjoyed their biscuits this morning? Thank you, Puckett's. We had a community coffee, normally does our coffee, but we had a little snafu and they could not be here. So thank you to the Franklin Tomorrow board members who worked very hard over the last 36 hours to figure out how to get coffee in your cups. So if you enjoyed your coffee, thank a Franklin Tomorrow board member. You'd be surprised at just how difficult it is to get coffee for this many people. It is at short notice, but thank you, board members. I want to welcome now one of my favorite events in the fall, in September's Pilgrimage Music Festival. So I want to welcome Brant Wood up with a special, some information and maybe a special giveaway.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Franklin Amaro. I'm Brant Wood, one of the producers and founders of Pilgrimage. I had the pleasure of being up here a few years ago to just share from my team an incredible gratitude we have for the support, the advocacy, and the patronage to come to Pilgrimage. It's a labor of love for me and my team, but it's our mission was to make it a part of the community and the cultural fabric, to do it right, to do what we said we were going to do. And it's year 7. We've had some great years. We've had some challenging years. But I think they say storms make good sailors. And we're sailing well. We're heading toward a sellout. We are here today, actually. My whole operations team is here to meet with your Franklin's Finest to do tabletop exercises. So we run through all the public safety contingencies and scenarios just to make sure that we are just on our game, doubling down on public safety. If you haven't been to Pilgrimage, please come. It's sort of all walks of life, all folks, all ages. There's kids to get in free. There's a Sunday service. I'm not saying you can miss church, but there's a pastor. We have a choir. We have a real proper hour-and-a-half service Sunday morning at what we call our AMT tent. And I could go on, you can go online and see who's playing, but I wanted to point out a few things. I got here yesterday. I got here early. I met Maureen, your new Visit Franklin director. She's amazing. What a great amount of experience she brings, and the team that's already there. They are a big part of promoting your city and this festival and all the things that go on over the years, and it's a big part of why we're successful, is that kind of partnership. I went to Harlansdale yesterday. Obviously, that is the venue of venues in our business. There's nothing like Harlansdale, and we really covet and want to care for and be a part of the stewardship of that venue, that park, that civic jewel. And I met with Friends of Franklin Park. They're a huge part of why we're here. Once again, they're advocating for the preservation of all those beautiful buildings, of the connectivity, of bridges. And we sat down and talked about how we can be we make an investment in Friends of Franklin Park and Heritage Foundation and lots of causes here. And we do that out of the respect and the energy that everybody brings to their causes and organizations. And so we want to be that citizen. But with Friends in particular, the projects that they're working on, the money from each ticket that we give for the use of the park and for those projects is something that we spent some time yesterday figuring out how to be even more beneficial. So I could sit here and talk about this forever, but I just appreciate you guys. I appreciate the opportunity to sit up here. Appreciate BOMA year over year listening to what makes Pilgrimage tick, what we need as producers, and how we can be more successful here by having you guys enjoy Pilgrimage. Appreciate y'all. Oh, yes. And last but not least, under 2 of your chairs that you're sitting on is an envelope, and in that envelope, and 2 chairs, might not be a chair that's even been sat in right now, it's certificates for 2 passes. 2 passes. There's one. 2 tickets to Pilgrimage and another one. All right. Almost forgot. Well, at least we'll see these folks at Pilgrimage, but we are going to sell this festival out this year. That's only happened once before, and that means a lot in this business, and I hope that's a source of pride, too. If you don't have a ticket, you can still get them.
Thank you so much. And so, yeah. And those can be the tickets. Folks who got the envelopes at the Pilgrimage table back there, see them after, okay? Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tom Lawrence, the voice you know and love, is going to come up. And Mayor Anderson and Mayor Moore, Mayor Anderson and Mayor Moore are coming up, and Tom is going to conduct our mayoral summit. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you filling in for Mindy in short order.
Mindy is at home right now, listening on the radio, breathing very hard. She has strep throat, so we don't need to make it any worse, Mindy, so we'll get right to the program. Where did the mayor of Williamson County go? Oh, he's behind me? It figures. It's a microphone, Mayor. You can touch it. As Huckleberry Finn once said, you can't swing a dead cat by the tail and not hit a mayor in here this morning. Mayor, you're lucky I don't have a dead cat. You got the floor, sir.
How do you follow that, huh? Well, thanks, Tom, for being here. We wish good health, speed health to Mindy and all that she has done for this organization. Mr. Baggins, you're doing a good job this morning, doing a good job. So each one of us is going to take a few moments and kind of talk about what's going on in the cities and the counties. But before I do that, I know there are several elected people here. I saw the judge, county commissioners, school boards, members, just all of you. If you're elected aldermen, would you stand at this time so we can give you proper recognition? And if you are interested, Brad Coleman, who sent out the tax assessments, he's the one in the third row from the back, third row in. No, he does a great job. He's doing a wonderful thing for us. One item I did want to talk about this morning is it's a countywide effort. All of these mayors throughout the county, their city managers, city administrators, we are getting together and looking with the professional side of the county and looking at how the growth patterns should be over the next 5 and 10 years. So let me go back a little bit and put this in perspective for you. A little over 20 years ago, the legislators put together a committee and said, or put together people and said, we need to have growth all across our state, and which areas are you growing in, cities and counties? And let's define that. And out of that came what we call is the growth plan for all of the state of Tennessee, but more specifically for Williamson County. Nolensville, Brentwood, Franklin, Thompson Station, Fairview, and Spring Hill all said back in the late 90s, 99, 98, that this is how we're going to grow for the next 20 years. And those paired up with the county lines, and in between that we call the urban growth boundaries. Those are the areas that would grow from the city over the next 20 years into areas that they deemed necessary for their services. To my knowledge, the mayors, city managers, and these professional people under the oversight of what we're attempting to do is the first that's been done in the state of Tennessee, is to get all of these entities back together and see how growth needs to be for the next 5 and 10 years, looking particularly at those urban growth boundaries. That's a real hard project because all cities and counties have different perspective on how they want to grow, and it's a challenge, but it can be done. And so we have dedicated about a year and a half to 2 years out to try to get that process finished so that all the cities will have an opportunity to define how they want to grow, and you will have a lot of input, ability for that input, either on the websites that are available or in public meetings. So each one of those cities will be reaching out to you. We'll be reaching out to you from the county. Personally, I think the biggest challenge that we have over the next 5 and 10 and 20 years as we double our population by the year 2045 is to continue to define how Williamson County grows and control that growth in the way that is best for each of your cities and for our county overall. When you think about our schools, Franklin Special School District as well as the Williamson County Public School System. We do not need to be building schools where there's not proper infrastructure put in and having the people, and they're going to come, and they are coming. But these leaders with the school side need to know where to build these schools, and it's not always an easy challenge, whether it's Franklin Special or it's in the Williamson County Public School System. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Tom, unless you've got something else you want to throw at me.
No, sir.
And
The Williamson County Fair begins Friday week.
it does. I'm glad you brought that up because I have to go back to the office and face Diane.
You can face her right there.
Yeah. So a week from Friday, August the 6th, is the start of the Williamson County Fair. There's an opportunity for you to buy your tickets online to save a little money, so do that. We're expecting, just like in this audience, every event that Ken and all of these mayors go to this over the last 30 days, 45 days, whether fish fries or ice cream suppers, they are packed, and people are wanting to get out and socialize the best they can. So thank you for letting me redeem myself a little, Tom.
All right. The mayor of Franklin is Dr. Ken Moore, an orthopedist. Did you know that there is one Franklin employee who has not only one doctorate, but she has two?
That would be our police chief.
The police chief of the city of Franklin is Dr. Deborah Faulkner. That's right.
And she's here this morning.
Oh,
Good morning,
yes.
Deb.
Oh, yes. Floor is yours, sir.
Well, I certainly appreciate your recognizing Chief Faulkner, and she does such a great job for us, and she leads a department that's one of the top departments in America that's CALIA certified, and that's a fancy acronym, which I don't remember, but speaks to the fact of how many certifications and level of expertise our department has. So she deserves a lot of praise, in addition to all of her department who are serving the city so well. So thank you, Deb, and thanks for being here this morning. And I think I've got some slides. I don't know if they're available or not. There you go. Good. So, Rogers, I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate your leadership on this county growth plan, and all the mayors in the city and the county look forward to being part of that, along with a lot of other people in our community. As Rogers mentioned, it is going to be a challenge for us as we continue to grow, with our populations projected to double in Franklin and Williamson County, and also the jobs are going to continue to grow, are the best predictions we have. The next slide, please. This is Maureen Haley Thornton, and we want to welcome her this morning. Maureen, are you here? There you are. You know, tourism is an important part of Franklin. If you go downtown, you see a lot of the leisure tourists have now returned, and it's a significant factor for all of our citizens in Franklin, because tourism creates enough money that it reduces our tax burden by about $500 and something. And so Maureen comes from Houston, and we're excited she's here, and I urge every one of you to reach out to her and say hello and offer your help in the best way you can. In the next slide, we're in an election cycle for the city of Franklin. We're going to have 4 new aldermen after the election, which is October the 26th. We have one alderman that's not opposed, Alderman Berger, and congratulations on that. But we have 14 total candidates, which I know many of them are here this morning, and I'm going to ask them to raise their hand or stand. I mean, this is a brave new world to stick your neck out there. So I urge each and every one of you to meet these candidates and learn what they stand for, know who they are, because you're going to have 4 new aldermen, and 1 alderman will continue to serve. What's happening now that the pandemic has declined? We've now starting to go back and greet each other like today, which is very, very special. But we've already had a number of festivals, and we're witnessing the eagerness of citizens and tourists to come back and be engaged again. And it's still a little bit, challenging to us as we try to figure this out. We've already had Juneteenth, which was a wild success. We had the Main Street Festival, which was fabulous to see so many people, and then this past weekend, Bluegrass on the Harpeth. And so we continue to see more and more of those festivals return, and of course, Brentwood with Pilgrimage. But also the city, the next slide, has continued to, we haven't stopped because of the pandemic. We've continued to have a lot of projects that are continuing, such as Franklin Road, if you didn't notice, is torn up, and but also you see Mac-Hatcher is going to be completed this fall. We're excited about that. That'll be a special time. You probably don't see the water reclamation facility, which will be another year before its completion, but this is the largest single capital project that the city has ever done. But other projects such as McEwen, we're starting to get phase 4. We're in the right-of-way acquisition phase, and we're finishing up the final construction plans for Columbia Avenue. And we're also looking to build a bridge across the Harpeth River on the back of Harlansdale. In addition to a new park in southeast Franklin, if you drive by there, we're building a bridge across the Harpeth River now to access that property. So next slide. One of the important things that we're looking at on the horizon is a new city hall. The current city hall has outlived its usefulness, and you'll see a link there where you can go in and express your opinion about a new city hall and what you think it should look like. In addition, you can also go on our website, and there's a projects dashboard where you can see where projects are, what the timeline is, how much money we're spending on those, and so on. And then also you can link up to the park. So that's all I have this morning. I don't know the significance. I was told to go to one side and Rogers the other side. Rogers migrated to the right side, and I couldn't get over there because I was told to be on the other side. So I don't think it has any significance. Do you, Rogers?
Yeah, you're going to have to use your mic, Mayor. If you want him to hear you, you're going to have to use that microphone. All right. There's no significance of him being on the left and him being on the right, is there, Mayor Anderson?
I think you need to call up the other mayors, Tom.
Well, excuse me, you had a tax increase this year, and he didn't. Hold on here. Sorry.
It's rough. It's just rough.
It's
up here
rough
some
all
days.
over. Yeah. Let's meet the other mayors of the municipalities of Williamson County. Ladies first. Debbie Rainey, the mayor of Fairview. Let's see here. Derrick Adams, the mayor of Nolensville. You can tell he hasn't been mayor of Nolensville very long. He doesn't have one gray hair. And speaking of gray hair, Ray Little, the mayor of Brentwood. And the mayor of my hometown, is it Hageman or Hageman, sir? Jim Hageman, the mayor of Spring Hill. And I can remember when this man didn't have any gray hair, Corey Napier, mayor of Thompson Station.
word is you just
have a
quit dying.
seat, and lady and gentlemen, there will be, there's a microphone somewhere close to you, so if you could pass that around as you would. We have questions, and we'll get to as many as we can. I'll make you one promise. We're going to leave here at I'm going to leave here at 8:45. These folks may stay, but I'm going to leave here at 8:45 because the mayor of Fairview said she had to be at work at 9, and so do I. Let's start to the far left, if you would, geographically speaking. With an increase in sales tax that will revert to the county and the increase in impact funds that have been freed and more building in the county, why did we need to increase the county tax? Let's reverse that and go to the mayor of Williamson County, Roger Zanders.
Thank you, Tom.
I just read what they put in front of me, sir.
Everybody has a crutch, and so let me kind of give you a snapshot of that. We did have a reassessment. As all of you know, we were kidding about Brad Coleman and an outstanding job that he did. When you do a reassessment every 5 years, and this is the last time we'll do 5 years, we're going to a 4-year reassessment. But when you do that reassessment, you capture all of those values that you've captured since the last time you did it, with some marginal adjustments that Brad's team does on a year-by-year basis. So the values this year, many of you have heard me say this, that the total value this year was over $65 billion worth of values. That's residence, that's commercial, that's your property, everything that we've got in the Williamson County, excluding churches and government buildings. You pull up those values and it came to $65 billion. That in itself doesn't mean a lot until I give you some perspective of just going back 10 years ago. What were our values 10 years ago? And those values 10 years ago, when we did a reappraisal period, was $30 billion. So we more than doubled in total values, total buildings, valued property, and that's an amazing number that we're seeing. And you would think, well, that value would offset any kind of property, whether it's tax, and we're restricted by law to making that revenue neutral. So our county commissioners, through the aid of Brad and through the certification of the state of Tennessee, look at that and they bring that tax rate back down to what it was generated prior to that. So our tax rate was $2.22. We brought it down to $1.75, 76 cents. They go out about four decimals. And then we bumped it up 12 and a half, 13 pennies, we call it. 3 pennies of that are going to our school departments, school operations, school building, and things like that. The rest of it is going for items that we see that are down the road. It was the first property tax that we've had in over 5 years, which is about 1.5% of the growth rate. So nobody likes a property tax increase. Nobody fully appreciates what all of these men and the different boards that we've got to do, but to keep up with the things that we've got to have over the next 3 and 4 years, these are some of the programs that we've got in the pipeline that need to be paid for. And of course, all of you have heard the story, Tom, that the vast majority of any amount of money that you have, even schools get 75% of everything, including debt, but it goes toward the operations side, the salary, and all these businessmen and women, and including us, we're having a very difficult time hiring people, retaining people, and so some of that money will be used for that too. But it's, I hate to say it's modest. Nobody likes, as I said, a property tax increase, but it was very much needed, and I hope you will understand what we're attempting to do to keep Williamson County that AAA rated and the community that people want to live and work in.
This is a question for each one of the mayors this morning. And to be honest, Mayor Anderson and Mayor Moore have both have already answered this in their actions. Debbie Rainey, would you publicly support a campaign that encourages all citizens eligible for the vaccine to get the vaccine?
Thank you, Tom. I think that one of the blessings of living here is that I heard the school board chair this morning and I were talking about this is a close community, and I think that we all do what we think we need to do to protect those around us. So as far as supporting a campaign either for or against, I think our best choice is always to let people do what they know to do to help and protect others.
Notice the Mayor Nolensville socks, if you would. Can you tell he's a software engineer? The Mayor of Nolensville is Derrick Adams. Mayor, you heard the question. Are you encouraging Nolensvillians to get the vaccine?
Yeah, thank you for that question. What a first question as first-time mayor up here. You know, I'm a big proponent of personal responsibility and personal choice. I do think if anybody wants to get it, you should, and it's a good thing that it's available, but no government should require it. And you know, I'm double vaccinated. That was my personal choice, and if that's not your personal choice, I would always say personal responsibility. Make sure you don't endanger others. Make sure you're being safe and responsible and respectful of others' choices as well.
Ray Little, City of Brentwood.
Is this on?
Yes, sir.
Well, many generation Williamson County and Brentwood and Franklin family. Liberty is a word you see a lot around Williamson County, both on roads and schools and streets. And I do believe in personal liberty. And so I would never impose upon someone to get a vaccination. Personally, I did when I was eligible. There's some people who can or can't for personal health reasons. I feel that we've done a great job in the county, and I'll give kudos to the county to making the vaccine available for those who wanted to take it. And I actually do think it's wonderful for us to advertise and let people know where they can get the vaccine if they choose to do it. But there again, it is their liberty to choose to have a vaccine or not to. So I'm for advertising where it's available, but never mandating to anybody they need a vaccine.
Corey Napier, Mayor of Thompson Station.
I would reflect the earlier comments. I'm a big believer in people need to make the best decision for themselves and their family, but I think they need to be educated. And I think we in elected leadership roles it's incumbent upon us to do our best to make sure our constituency, our residents, our citizens are educated, and I encourage everybody to speak with their medical providers, and we as leaders do what we can to give folks the resources to that end.
Hageman.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pronounce your name for me. I hate getting names wrong.
Phonetically, it's Hageman.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mayor of Spring Hill.
So I believe in very small government, and I believe absolutely the government should not tell you what to do, how to conduct your own lives. So I do not believe in a vaccine mandate, but I do believe that education is part of the citizens of Spring Hill, the citizens of anywhere you live, to make an informed decision, and it should be your decision to go. That's the bottom line. Thank you.
And as a proud Spring Hillian, Spring Hill is either the second or third largest city in Williamson County. It's the largest city in Murray County. Mayor Moore, you have spoken about this many times. You got anything to say, or you all spoke out?
Well, I concur with what everyone said, but I think that if we look back during the pandemic, the biggest enemy we had was confusing messages, messages that were not consistent throughout the pandemic. I think the best thing we can do is make sure that we have the appropriate information, the best scientific information, and then let people have their own decision as whether they want to have the vaccine. If we look at what our options are, there aren't a lot of options to end the pandemic other than, immunization, social distancing, mask wearing, which I understand is controversial. Many of the medications that are out there are still under study, and so we hope to see some better information about those.
Mayor Anderson, you got anything to say? I'll give you an option here. I'm a firm believer in actions speak louder than words, and I've seen these two fellows act.
Well, I think when you, first of all, my answer would be the same as the others that have said here, but I need to reflect on something, Tom, and say thank you to all the people here and the people that are watching. Williamson County is the #1 county in the state for vaccinations through educations. Congratulations, and thank you for helping us.
Are you saying Williamson Countyans are smarter than the rest of those Tennesseans?
Seeing how none of them can vote for me in the other counties, absolutely.
And I think that's the closest he's going to come to announcing for re-election today. We started with the mayor of Fairview, so we'll start the next question with you. We'll get her off the hook, but she'll know what's coming. Diversity can be viewed in many ways. How do you view diversity in Nolensville? And is there an attempt to diversify?
Absolutely. What a great question. Yeah, one of the big things I've been talking about in Nolensville is not affordable housing, but attainable housing and housing options. And that's a big focus right now to move away from just large lot, single-family homes and provide some other housing options in Nolensville. Additionally, we celebrated for the first time Juneteenth, and I thought that was a big, important thing that deserved recognition, and we're going to continue to do that annually in Nolensville as well and participate with the event that was over here in Franklin. So yes, diversity is a very important thing to Nolensville, and I think our actions on housing is going to be the first step in that direction.
Mayor Little?
Repeat the question, Tom.
Diversity can be viewed in many ways. How do you view diversity, and is there an attempt to diversify in Brentwood?
I think Brentwood is a community that was established years ago as a very accepting and diverse community, but I don't think that we necessarily promote or do programs for diversity. We allow the populace to determine if they want to live there, how they want to participate, what activities they want to take part in. So we do not have a definitive push for that, but I'm all for. So we have many, many nationalities and all that live in Brentwood and a great cooperative community. So I think we do a good job of it in Brentwood.
Mayor Napier?
Right. So last time I was with you, whenever that was, a year or two ago, here, I talked about building modern Mayberry, and I think one of those implicit values that we talk about with Mayberry of yore is knowing your neighbor. And so, like the mayor of Nolensville was talking about, we're a community that's largely residential at this point. Things are changing, more commercials coming in. But we have always tried to create a palette of housing, different price points, so that kids can live next to their parents, who can live next to their grandparents, and there's housing options for them. and we are setting the stage with our parks and trailways to encourage people to get out and know their neighbors, be social, get to know folks that live next door to you, and not hide behind your walls. And I think we've seen this with the pandemic. And so yes, diversity takes all forms. And for our community, we're about 90% white. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what the census will tell you when it comes out. We are encouraging newcomers from all over, and there are folks from California and Illinois moving in every day, and they're mashing up with us Southerners. So, stay tuned.
Mayor Hageman.
Thank you. So I'm a former Air Force guy. I'm a retired Air Force, and I've been in the diversity realms for my whole life for a long time. And I'm a supporter of diversity because I have found that, first of all, let me say this: when the word infrastructure goes out, a lot of people, I believe, go to the mindset infrastructure, roads. There's a lot more to infrastructure than just roads. I think when the word diversity goes out, I think a lot of people's mind goes to race, color of your skin. There's a lot more to diversity than just race. And so diversity to me, as a supporter of that, I have found in my life that that everyone, regardless of your socioeconomic status, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless if you're a Republican or a Democrat, regardless if you're the mayor of that place or Spring Hill, Thompson Station, regardless of whatever it is that you do, regardless if you're a male or a female, everyone has value. And I think that if people take the time to delve into someone else's story or their culture, you will find, and I have found, that because everyone has value, that it is a great thing. So diversity comes with all of that. So don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by somebody's bank account. Delve into their whatever it is that they have to offer, and they do have something to offer. So I absolutely support diversity. Thank you.
Mayor Moore, does diversity in Franklin go further than a Fuller story?
Well, I kind of equate diversity and inclusivity kind of in the same phrase, and we've had an initiative called Unite Williamson now. I guess this is maybe our 4th year, which is an effort to help people understand who their neighbors are, whether their skin color is different, whether their religion is different, whether they speak a different language, whether they have a different sexual orientation or different nationality. So we look forward to continue to encourage people to attend Unite Williamson and be part of that to make sure that everyone in our community is included.
Mayor Rogers Anderson, Mayor Moore calls you the big mayor. Is diversity a bigger problem or a bigger opportunity in Williamson County?
I've always thought that Dr. Ken Moore, the mayor of Franklin, when he said big mayor and little mayor, was talking in terms of structure like you and me. But to answer your question, I appreciate all the answers, but I kind of go back on the way that my mom and dad raised me and the values that I have. And, God created us all equal if you go back and do your homework. And I'm not going to change or deviate from that. And so we need to treat everyone with respect. We need to treat everyone that moves into our community and with the utmost attention that they're important, that all of us are very, very important in that, Tom.
Fairview Mayor Debbie Rainey.
Well, 46 years ago, I moved into Williamson County from a very diverse small town, and I agree with our Spring Hill mayor that diversity takes a whole different range of diversity. My day job, I am the regional coordinator for Meals on Wheels, so we have an elderly population in Fairview. We have young families, we have young single people, and my biggest accomplishment, I think, is pushing the city, the community, to make sure when they rebuilt their playground that it's inclusive. And that is scheduled to open July 1 next year. So when we talk about diversity, it's sometimes easy to get lost and it's just race, but it's not. It's everyone and everything.
Thank you, Mayor. Look at the old mayors up here. They've all got wristwatches on. The young mayors up here don't. Can you tell me when it's getting close to 8:45? Okay. What time is it?
It's 08:30.
It's 08:30. We got 15 minutes to go. You ready for a hot potato?
I guess.
What are your thoughts on remasking?
My prayer is the virus does not come back with such a vengeance that we have to. I feel at this point that in Brentwood, most of the citizens have been wise. Many of our citizens are vaccinated. I definitely feel like if they're vaccinated, they should have the choice of whether they mask or not. We've not in this county, going back to Liberty, done hard mandates. We followed the state advice, the state health department's advice. But cases would have to get real bad before I would be for everyone wearing masks as we had to 6-9 months ago, because I just feel that the vaccine is a much more effective weapon, and it's something that is very available in this county. So no, I don't foresee that either. By God's grace, we won't have to deal with that.
Corey Napier, Thompson Station.
Well, when this pandemic thing happened early on, we were trying a lot of different things as a country and globally. We didn't know really the efficacy of the mask or not the mask, and so my bias will be not to mask up unless we begin to see a surge again, and take directive from those that are in the science and the medical community. But I'd rather not see another mandate put in place.
These questions come, by the way, from a Franklin Tomorrow committee, and that is how they are constructed. Mayor Hageman?
So my thoughts on remasking is, if, again, as I said when we were talking with regards to the vaccines, I believe in small government and the government not getting into your business. I think it's a great idea for a person who is immune compromised or just wants to be as safe as possible to put a mask on. I fully support that. For the government to tell you to mandate a mask, I do not support that personally. However, if the government did tell me to do it, everybody has to answer something. So as being raised to follow my parents' rules, to being raised in the military, to say yes sir or yes ma'am, I would, if they told me I had to do it, then I would. But if they gave me the choice as mayor to say, you have the choice to tell your citizens to do it or not, I would tell them it's whatever you want to do. Thank you. Mayor
Moore.
I was looking at my watch. I think it's 8:45. I am the only physician up here. I do not anticipate that we'll go to a mask mandate, but I think we all need to remember that there are people that have chosen not to be immunized and choose to wear a mask, and we need to be respectful of that. And if they choose to wear a mask, it's probably a good idea for us to try to accommodate them, and that's somewhat the policy we have in our office. If somebody comes in to see me or see any of our employees, we try to mask up to be respectful of them at that point in time.
Mayor Anderson, you're the only person up here the governor of Tennessee has at one time gave the authority face mask. Now 6 months later, what do you think?
Well, I think you're accurate in your statement in that, except for one person sitting up here, we had many meetings on a weekly basis with all the city mayors. We, including in that meeting, Tom, were healthcare professionals, school superintendents, both of them, and many other professional people through the public health arena that were on these calls making these decisions that we had to do. They were tough decisions, but at the end of the day, the law, as Jim has said, was relayed down to us. Currently, even if we wanted to, we can't. That is not the way the law is structured. When the governor gave the powers to come down to the local level, he said, you all make those decisions for your community at that time. I do not like the mask. I think it causes all kinds of anxieties, but I will wear the mask. I'm also of the opinion that if you go in for surgery, those physicians and nurses are wearing masks and shields, so there's a very valid point of that, and Ken is correct. I leaned on him very heavily during this because he was the only physician and one of the few physicians across this state. And maybe if we'll do a better job of getting vaccinated, those are personal choices. We will not see that order come down from the state, and we can live our lives the way that we need to live them.
Debbie Rainey.
I think that when it comes right down to it, that being in a leadership position is hard on a good day. And we have to rely on our leaders to use science and knowledge and medical knowledge to make those decisions. And when those decisions come down, we have to abide by them.
And Derrick Adams.
Yeah, I definitely supported Mayor Anderson's decision, and I think it was important at the time for us to stay together as a county with a consistent policy. Personally, now that we're past the mask mandate, I would not want to reinstate that at Nolensville's level. What I would focus on is continued education and making sure we're putting out the information that we're receiving about the effectiveness of masks or any kind of resurgence, and just be adamant about businesses making those decisions for themselves and protecting our citizens when they feel that that's what's necessary for their business.
I'm looking over the questions here, and these questions I received from Mindy last night, and I noticed one here and I'm not going to do this to Corey Napier. He would be the first one to answer this question. What is your spirit vegetable? I'm not sure I know what a spirit vegetable is. So until I find out what a spirit vegetable is, let's move to a different question, one that would apply more to Thompson Station and Spring Hill and Franklin and Brentwood. Will we ever build homes for first-time home buyers? $200,000 to $300,000 homes? Are they ever going to build any more of those in Thompson Station?
Well, it's been interesting. You know, we as a community came together a number of years ago to put together a plan that would hopefully direct growth, not shut it down, but to somewhat moderate the growth, control it, and provide, as I said earlier, a range of housing options. And so if you look at many of our subdivisions coming online, they have lower price points all the way up to the $1 million plus profile. Unfortunately, in this world of construction cost and relative home prices around us, there is this unintended consequences, I guess, of seeing the prices go up. I would like to continue to see a range of housing, because we need young people and kids scampering around with all the old folks and people in between. And so I don't want to see that disappear. And so you'll see us in our urban planning and our growth planning continue to encourage the starter home profile, but do so in a way that helps growth pay for itself and creates the amenity packages that our residents want.
Jim Hageman.
So earlier I said that everyone has value regardless of, one of the items I iterated was regardless of your socioeconomic status. So if you're in the tax bracket down here or somewhere up here, you should be able to get a house. The American dream, they attach that to. And so I fully believe and support any initiative that could go forward to have first-time buyers to be in that price point bracket that they could get into a house. Unfortunately, the caveat to that is that supply and demand dictate what the market will bring. And in Spring Hill at the moment, supply and demand, the supply is low, the demand is high. So unfortunately, for people who want to get in that price point, it's not feasible at the moment. Too much in Spring Hill. You can get a hidden gem every now and then, but when the market dies down and supply goes up and demand goes low, hopefully we can bring that back on. And it's awesome that when I bought my first house, my wife and I bought our first house, it was just the greatest feeling. Just that in itself is worth between $200,000 and $300,000. So, yeah, I fully support it. Thank you.
Mayor Moore?
Wow, this is really a challenging problem, and we've been addressing it as best we can for some time. We have the Housing Commission, which has been working on the issue. The fact that land is so expensive in Williamson County, particularly Franklin, creates an extra challenge. We have some partnerships that we've been doing. One is with the Franklin Housing Authority as they redevelop their land, and we've been able to give them some breaks as far as some of their fees. The board has made that decision. The city is currently moving forward on the so-called Hill property there on Hillsborough Road next to the Sonic, and we anticipate that that will be affordable and workforce housing, and our contribution to that will help that become a reality. Community Housing Partners has done some great work. They're on West Main, and now they're going to be building over off of Carruthers. Great project there. Habitat is challenged in our community just because of land prices. I'm an advocate for it. I wish our builder community would try to be more, put more affordable and workforce housing in their developments, but at the current time with economics, they tend to build the more expensive homes, I assume, because maybe there's a better profit margin.
Mayor Anderson?
Yeah, of course, I don't have anything to do with inside the cities, so my comments will be strictly to the unincorporated side of the county, and land prices, lack of public utilities. It's going to be very difficult to get any kind of affordable type homes out there, but I think sometimes government is also a hindrance in our fees and the structures that we have, and so we build these models when it comes to educational impact fees, the things that we do. There are some concessions made in the law, not a committee, not me saying those fees can be waived, but inside the law itself, there are ways that we can lessen the burden when a current developer decides to want to do that in the community. But it's very difficult here in this county, Tom.
You brought up that impact fee. You've almost got enough in that jar to build a school now, don't you?
We probably have in the educational impact fee, I think you're right, but we would not take all that money and build one school. One school cost about $70 million. Is that right, Jason? $70 million, and that's without the land. So I'd hate to spend it all on that. It's better to spread it out over the debt service and pay for many schools. And believe me, the way that people are coming here, we're still building schools.
Mayor Rainey? I'm sorry, Mayor.
But that helps, and we greatly appreciate that.
Mayor Rainey?
Well, in Fairview, we've been lucky enough just recently that we have a developer who is trying to develop 42 acres into workforce housing. Smaller homes, cottages, also apartments on that property. The problem we face is the community not wanting that density. And because property is so high in Williamson County, developers have to ask for that density in order to build that workforce housing. But we are trying.
Mayor Adams.
Yeah, this is a great question. So I was at Outback Steakhouse having lunch, and I met a young man there that was working there. we got small talking, and he found out I was the mayor of Nolensville. He said, "Oh, I'm from there. I don't live there anymore, but I want to." And shout out to Mayor Hageman. He moved into Spring Hill because he said he could find somewhere in his price point in the Spring Hill area, though he wanted to live in Nolensville. So there's no doubt there's a lack of the lower price point attainable housing in Nolensville. Similar to Mayor Rainey, we have some large developments being proposed right now. The West Haven and Berry Farms developers specifically are interested in building that a little bit of mixed use, but a wide variety of housing in a master plan development. And I'm in favor of that. The detractors, again, will say we don't want the density, but and with the density comes crime, and you hear all these arguments, but what I say to that is Nolensville and Williamson County, we attract good people. And you want to live in Williamson County and Nolensville because of the family-friendly atmosphere, the goodness and the charm of the people that live there. And despite the type of housing someone can afford, that's what they're attracted to. And we're going to attract those type of people that want to live in this charming, family-friendly area. And so, yes, it's a big focus of mine personally to try to bring the variety of housing to Nolensville.
And Mayor Ray Little.
All of the communities represented up here have unique circumstances. Brentwood is a residential community by nature, 90% residential, 5% commercial, which provides about 60-65% of our revenue, and 5% church, parks, green space. 25 years ago, we had a plethora of houses at $250,000, $300,000. I think this last year, our median price of a home in Brentwood is over $1 million. I do not feel it's the responsibility of the government of Brentwood to determine what houses should cost. I believe that's up to the developers and people who buy the land. With many lots selling in Brentwood, and by the way, on growth, we do keep our growth. Right now, we're usually 130 to 170 housing permits a year. That's not real rapid growth. But as we approach build-out and the land value that's been enhanced by many things we've done for quality of life over the last 20, 25 years that's wonderful for our residents, I think the average lot's now going for $750 to $1,000. We also have 1 acre density, and it is sacrosanct. And so it makes it hard to even imagine that you could build something that would be $200,000 or $300,000. So I do not foresee that in the future of Brentwood, and I think it would really bode a lot of ill to our community if our houses in Brentwood were only $250,000. I believe that would take a major economic collapse. I do not foresee that happening anytime in the near future.
All right, gentlemen and lady, you're off the hook. I'm done. Patrick Baggett, you going to talk about the dip jar? And next time, Patrick, when we get you on the radio, I'll ask you about your spirit vegetable.
Oh,
all
wow.
right?
Well, I wanted to clear some things. Thank you all, mayors, for being here. And I think everyone. Not sure if you knew exactly what was coming your way this morning with the question selection, but those questions were submitted by you all. So, and we delivered that list as Franklin Tomorrow, just straight from the Eventbrite question submittal. So, that's how those questions were selected. So, thank you all for doing that. Breakfast with the Mayors, the next one is October 19th. Join us for that. And then Monday, August 9th, our Frank Talks, and Deb Varallo is here, and Deb is going to be, who is probably one of the best networkers I know. She is going to do a lecture on honing our post-pandemic networking skills. And then, as Tom brought up, our dip jar. Again, all these events are free to you, and we thank our partners, but we also have this little dip jar over there, and so you can put your credit card or debit card in there, and it will, with less than 2-3 seconds, you will have donated $20 to Franklin Tomorrow. Every dollar counts for our organization as we put on these free events. Thank you all. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.